All right, well, we're at 2:02, so we'll go ahead and get started. Um, Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining. This is training, more of a refresher. If some of you joined us about this time last year when we first rolled out e-ticketing and the eDOT portal provided by HaulHub, it will be a refresher training similar to what we did last year. Sean Miller works with Hall Hub. He is going to be our presenter. He's going to show us from a SCDOT side how to navigate and operate the web-based portal, and then also the mobile application for our guys in the field that are physically accepting or rejecting the tickets. So there'll be a couple troubleshooting steps he'll cover at the end. By all means, we are not going to be able to address every potential scenario that arises. If you have any specific questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. If we can't get to them this afternoon, we can try and follow up as best as possible. So without further ado, Sean, if you're ready to go, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Yeah, appreciate that, Jeremy, and appreciate everyone who's able to join. South Carolina has been a very successful state to work with the most e-ticket volume across 40 other state agencies that use our platform. So kudos to there. But yeah, really just a refresher overall on the basics of just seeing the data, understand how it's set up and shared on a project level basis from contractors and suppliers. Um, and how you can track that and generate reports to help you all on the back end of your shifts for each project. So everyone should be seeing the screen. I'm going to start with, again, kind of the structure of the system. So our main, product service is eDOT. That's what agencies use. But within this centralized platform, we have different portals for, different entities. So the agency side, your prime or subcontractors, and then we got your suppliers. We call them suppliers, but the producers who own the plants where we have to connect with initially to even be able to exercise e-ticketing. So how we do that is we connect with the plant one of two ways. They can sync us up with an existing vendor that they already use for their own internal e-ticketing privately. So in most cases, it's Fleet Watcher for asphalt in the state of South Carolina that these guys are using. But if they don't have a vendor already, then we're tying in directly to the plant loadout. And once we start getting tickets in, that is automatically bucketed under jobs for them based on the job number and their job descriptions. They're not having to set up or go into our system at all to do any setup of a project. They're just automatically organized and created based on the ticket data. So only they see that, and then they are required to what we call calibrate any of their projects to an SCDOT contract or file number, and that is being synced on a nightly basis from the SCDOT Ashtower project construction module. So projects and staffing and access to our system from the state side is all done initially through Ashtower project. And then that is what triggers, you all to see your projects, your contract items, and have access to your own individual login based on Ashtower project. So, if you need to assure, and a kind of a best, practice would be if you're, a project manager or a part of the management office over an array of projects, you want to validate that one, the project exists in our system and that your folks, including consultants, have access. Then you need to actually ensure that they have contract access within Ashtower project, and that they have a construction role setting to at least one contract. And if so, then they already have, or they will get an invitation email to log in and set their password and view that within HaulHub the next night. So on the supplier side, what that looks like for them whenever they are seeing all of their projects and tickets underneath those projects, and then they need to grant you all access to see those tickets. I'm going to hop into a demo account, and they have different views inside their end of the portal, where they could go see the actual tickets. But in this case, the most key thing for you all to note is that they can generate a test or dummy ticket before the project begins. It'll automatically create a line item with their job number, PO number, the job name, and then if this was, matching to a SCDOT file number or contract, then that would appear here as well. And they just need to go hit connect one time on the front end of the job. They would go find South Carolina, see the list of contracts that are being set up automatically in the system from AWP, select the matching one and hit connect. And that's all they have to do to ensure that on day one that trucks are loading out, that whoever's inspecting on behalf of SCDOT can log into their EDOT Inspector app and view all the tickets going forward for that file number. So another best practice and recommendation is that, during a pre-construction meeting, if you're part of the management team over a project and you are, with the contractor during a pre-con meeting, have them print a dummy ticket at the plant that they're going to be shipping asphalt from and producing asphalt from on day one. And they can go ahead and knock out this, what we call calibration process ahead of time. You guys can log into the portal on the web or the mobile side, which we're going to dive into here in a minute. And you will be able to see that project and see that dummy ticket and know that you're good to go. They print out a dummy ticket, but they can void it out in their plant system, and that's totally fine. The project will remain connected going forward.
Sean, I want to step in there. Our spec actually requires, I wanted everyone on here to know, our spec requires the contractor at the pre-con, like you mentioned, it requires them to send over those dummy tickets. And just so the group is aware that it's better to see if there's any connection issues before they are trying to send asphalt out to the road. So I just wanted to detail a little more on what Sean hinted at. Yes, that during the pre-con, that is a perfect time when you leave there, have them send you those dummy tickets to show that the connection has been made. They only have to do it once, and you'll be good to go before asphalt even shows up.
Awesome. Yep. Thanks for clarifying that, Jeremy. That's a requirement, and will really save a lot of heartache once the project gets going and materials are being delivered. So, and that brings to the next phase where I'm going to dive into the mobile app actually. So I'm going to bring in my screen for when materials are being shipped, and you should be seeing tickets on day one. So I'm going to bring up my phone screen here and expand that. And so if you have not yet, you can go to on your mobile device that you'll use out in the field. It's free to download. You can just search EDOT Inspector, and you'll see this purple EDOT app called EDOT Inspector in Field. We did an update recently to the nomenclature, calling it and field. So if you go search it now and you already have the app, you might see an update button here. Either way, this is the mobile app you'll use, and your account will be tied to based on your SCDOT or consultant email that is, logged in SCDOT project and thus in HaulHub. And so when you first log in, you are going to actually be prompted to set up an e-signature one time, so that if you are ever confirming tickets as delivered or rejecting them, then this signature, along with the date and timestamp and geolocation, will be applied to that ticket as well. And if you go to when you're in your account settings in the app, these boxes here can give you some additional trucking analytics that you might find beneficial when you're out there on site. And based on the current kind of information we just relayed, when you first log into our mobile app, you are on a current 24-hour clock that we call today. And you should see your project if you're working there. If you're out there and trucks are beginning to load out, you should see your project when the first truck and the first ticket is generated at the plant. Which will happen within 5 minutes generally of the trucks actually loading out at the plant. So well before they arrive on site. However, if the first truck arrives and you do not see your project here, then that means one of two things. The first step would be to confirm with the contractor that the plant has calibrated the project, or that whoever they are getting asphalt from has calibrated the project. Usually, they're going to be also the producer, right? In asphalt's case. The second would be if you're not seeing this. And the first truck arrives, if you need to ensure that you have access to the project, first an ASHTOR project, and that your access has not expired. You need to make sure you have access to the contract. If those two things are true, then we have a troubleshooting button up here in green, and you can click that, and this is the quickest way to notify both the Haul Hub support team as well as the supplier, with their central contacts that we have when we got connected to their plants. And sometimes it might be still that they're ticketing under the wrong job number, potentially. Either way, you're just going to say, no tickets for today. Maybe you're not seeing the right tickets for your job. Whatever the case may be, you can report that issue here. And we'll have a lot of things quick selected for you. So you can search your job number if you need to, select it. And once we confirm who the supplier is and what plant it's coming from, then all you have to do is submit this issue. We don't need any more information than these first 4 prompts, and that will notify us and the supplier, and we will get that resolved as fast as possible. So that would be kind of the first 2 steps before you would go through that prompt, would be just confirming with the contractor, hey, have you all connected the job to HaulHub? And 2, making sure you yourself have contract access with the ASHTOR project. So going back to the projects here, what you're going to see are any projects you have access to that are running today as of 5 a.m. this morning. And they will be the tonnages right here, your daily total across all materials being ticketed under this project from any given plant will be aggregated here. And that is just the daily total loaded at the plant, not what you guys have actually confirmed as received or delivered. If you are working a night job, then you have a night job filter. And so this is going to show you all active projects ticketing after 5 p.m. on the current date, and they will remain bucketed under this project in this view until 5 a.m. the next morning. So this will be the page that you're on when you're working a night shift. Once it gets past 5 a.m., if you are still working this project for this night shift and you still have some more trucks that are going to load out before the job is done for the day, you just need to go over to the right here and click this time clock symbol and just make sure that this rightmost time dot is out to the current time. Once you hit apply, then the tickets that are still being loaded out and created past 5 a.m., past our assumed night shift hour range, will then appear in your window if they exist in our system for this project from any of the plants from the supplier. So let's assume I'm working a day shift, and I'm going to go back to the Today tab. And I get out there on the job site, and the first truck loads out for, my project. I'm going to see my project and click on it. I'm going to then pretty much essentially live here throughout the remainder of my shift, and I'm going to see every ticket starting with the first ticket number, load count for that material. I'm going to see the daily total, which for load 1 is going to match the net total, and that's going to be a running total, obviously, as the plant continues to load out. And then everything will be set in a pending status until me as the inspector confirms it as delivered when it arrives on site and I do my inspections, where I can apply any of my field notes. If I want to apply a station, I can do that as well. And then this date and timestamp is the date and timestamp of loadout at the plant. So if this truck arrives and I want to, apply my station, then I can either type it in or if you have digital stations applied to your project, which if you wish to ensure, if you want to confirm or wish to have your digital stations applied so that you don't have to physically type it and you can just punch in this button right here, you can reach out to Jeremy Uhas, Travis Driggers, and Jeff Brown, and they can get that in for you. If so, then when you're out there within a certain range on site of any physical station markers, then that will apply your station and offset based on your geolocation of your mobile device and to relative to those digital stations. But at any point, you can type in and adjust this. You can go to the notes section if you want to apply any sort of your field temp, for example. If you need to apply an ambient temperature, you can do that as well. If you need to apply waste to a ticket, whatever you type in here to the second decimal will deduct from the net ticketed total that came from the plant. So this was an exact 20-ton ticket of material for your net quantity, and I put a 2.5 here, then that's going to become a 17.5 net total net tonnage ticket once I confirm it as delivered, because I'm going to state that we need to deduct 2.5 tons for waste. You can also type in any general notes here. And then hit update. And you can see here, this was 16 something net tons. It deducted that 2.5. And then if I'm ready to confirm this as delivered out in the field and move on and, wait for my next load to arrive for whatever product that is arriving, then I'm going to hit mark delivered here. You're going to be prompted to add a pay item code and apply a quantity if different from the net ticketed total to this. You do not have to do that. You can actually bypass this and just confirm delivery. But if you wanted to add or assign a pay item quantity for this material e-ticket, then just hit search items. If it's asphalt, recommended you just go to unit of measure, select tonnage and tap off of that. And then, say this is your hot mix asphalt surface course type B, you could select that, select pay item at the bottom, default to the net tonnage minus any waste that I'd already applied, which will already be factored in. And then if I wanted to add a note here or flag this for any reason to go back and view on the web, you can, and then you can confirm delivery. So then you can see that my ticket that I just confirmed is delivered for Surface B, but was under a different product code, fell out of my view. But if I go click off of our assumed material status of just showing you pending tickets or trucks that have yet to be confirmed as delivered or rejected, I can just click the X here. And that ticket will come back into my view. Again, data doesn't ever just fall out or leave our system, or based on your action within the mobile app, will you ever lose access to a ticket or be able to go undo or edit any information you're applying to it. So just kind of a general FYI there, we do track it, keep an audit log, which we can go view. But the status is always default day to day to pending tickets unless you want to keep all the load counts in your view if you want to go back and reference it for tracking purposes. You can see here there's a material drop-down filter. So if I have multiple materials being ticketed from a plant, and maybe these are each going to a different job site under this contract number 4665210, then you can set a filter to where you're only seeing the tickets that are being ticketed for the material coming to your location, for example. Or if multiple materials are coming to one location and you just want to filter on just a specific one, then you can do that as well. And you can see that so far on this project, there's only been one ticketed load for this Surface E product state code J0490. Another value we typically get if the plant is inputting it and sending that from their vendor, or if they are inputting it at the plant and we're pulling it, will be your dispatch. This is also referencing a location to where materials are being ticketed to. So if there are multiple, routes or job sites or roads, you should see the road name. Sometimes the plant will be inputting, a name relative to the foreman they have out there. As I understand, is fairly customary on some projects for some suppliers for you all historically. Uh, so you know which tickets you just want to see. Then if there's multiple values, just filter on the value that you're physically located at, and then you will only see those loads coming from the plant for this project. So I'm going to move on. We confirmed load one, for example, for this service type E. Let's say this service type B is the next ticket that loads out. Before the truck even arrives, you're going to see this, right? And if you want to go view the extent of the information on this ticket, then you can just click in the header section, which is anywhere above the station and notes buttons. And this is where you're going to actually be able to dive into all the fields that we're getting information on, including a weight breakout across your gross, net, and tear, and at the very least tons, but we do grab it in pounds or metric tons if they're providing that. And this is where you're going to see, the extent of the information for your material e-ticket. You can also upload images. So maybe you're going to reject this load for some physically obvious reason, or you have another reason to reference a photo for this ticket. Then just click this photos button here. And you don't have to already have the picture taken and saved on your device. You can actually just click upload, but then select take a photo. And what this will do is we'll save an image that actually applies both the reference to your account username, your email, the date and timestamp, and also attach this to the ticket so that everyone else has a reference to something specific that you would want them to see on this date under this project for this ticket number. And if you ever want to delete, then you can delete it here.
Sean, 1 second. Looks like Dwayne Brickle raised his hand. Dwayne, I believe you're muted, but if you want to type your question, if you got a question, feel free to type it in the chat. You can continue, Sean. I'll keep an eye on the chat for you.
Okay, thank you. So when you're in this, what we call raw ticket data layer of the material ticket to see all the information, you can also take action from here, same as you could on the job level view of the project for your tickets. If I want to mark this delivered, I can do that here as well, and I'm going to get that same prompt. And you notice that if I out in the field apply one pay item code to a ticket initially, I will not have to continue to search for that unless it was a new pay item that I want to go apply. So I think the initial one was actually surface type B, but say this one I want to apply a new pay item towards, or maybe I need to apply multiple pay items. Then I can do that, select those, apply my tonnage breakout across, in this example, 2 different pay items based on the total net tonnage of that ticket. And then I can confirm delivery. And then you can see on our audit log, when you're clicked into your ticket, everything that's happened from the moment it was created from the original source, which would be the supplier, to when HaulHub received the transmission of this ticketed copy, and then to everything that me or anyone has ever gone in and done tracking going forward. If I go back to the ticket and minimize this data, then I can see a breakout under reconciliation of the allocation for each pay item. And whenever I go confirm the next ticket delivered, then any pay items I've added will be available as quick select options, so I don't have to continue searching. This is where you could edit or clear your pay codes, add a flag to remember to go back to this ticket later. If I go to more actions, even though I've already confirmed this ticket is delivered, I can go to edit inspector notes here and apply or update any of the fields, including the general notes section that I wish, and continue to update this, as well as if I back out of this raw ticket data level, I go back to the project view. I still have reference to that ticket here where I can do all of the same things. More actions. I could put this back in pending status if I wanted to. I could edit my pay codes, etc.
And Sean, someone asked that whenever they code a pay item to a ticket, it automatically gets pulled into AWP, correct?
So no, currently nothing. So our current existing connection with AWP is a one-way connection, which AWP feeds our system with all the project and staff setup, including the contract items and estimated quantities for those contract items, or pay items, as you may reference it. We are currently working on, with South Carolina and a handful of other states, the ability to set up on an individual project, the ability to pay code your tickets, whether you're on the mobile app or you go pay code them after on the website, which I'll be demonstrating later. And then you can actually choose to submit your daily work report quantities from our system to AWP. However, that is not live and automatically taking place today. And so as I continue to view my tickets and mark them, if I need to reject a ticketed load, then I'm going to go to more actions. Maybe the temperature's way off here, and I note that in my notes. Or before I even note it in the notes, I track the temperature and it is not fit for laying down. Or maybe you just hear that, hey, truck MT36 broke down. They're going to have to take the material back. You would go to more actions here and hit mark rejected. Here you could then put your reason. We just require up to 5 characters. So if it's temperature, you could type temperature. If it's truck broke down, you could type truck broke down or material not needed. Whatever the reason is, you want to put it in rejected status so that you're not accepting and you're not going to show on any of our reports that the net tonnage of this material ticket or net value of this material ticket is going to be considered delivered and thus paid out on. So I'm going to hit reject here. And then that is in rejected status. Before I move on to some other sections here, I'm going to mark one more ticket delivered and show you guys where at the top you can view your recent pay codes for the day so that you don't have to go keep searching the same ones. You will be able to quick select, however many you need to apply to a single ticket. Now, if you want to view your totals for each material that you're accepting, so not just relying on what the plan is saying it loaded out. However, you want to actually see while you're confirming tickets as delivered or rejected, the volume for each material, then you're going to click on this ticket reports section. And you're going to see a project overview. So across all materials for this project, the plant's loaded out 187.47 net tons of some sort of asphalt mix. Of that, I, in this project example, have confirmed 34.79 has been delivered and received on site. 21.99 has been rejected. 2.5 total tons has been marked as waste. And then there's still 128.19 pending. Now here's where you can actually sift this by material. So based on the ticketed product or material description, I'm going to see these two, the surface B and surface E, and then I can just select one, tap on the screen anywhere off of that, and it'll actually update the quantities for any of these statuses based on action I've taken as an inspector out there for this project. If I want to switch and view my surface E, I'm going to do that. And you can see this is the one ticket example initially that I confirmed was delivered, but I deducted 2.5 tons of waste initially first. Total will always be what the plant has actually produced versus, again, inspectors confirming delivered, rejected, waste, and then what has yet to be confirmed, which would be pending. So there's some other valuable reports here that are based on if you've unlocked them for your view. This will be a default one that you don't have to take any action in your account settings, but there were boxes at the bottom of your account settings I referenced that if you want to see things like a delivery report, and I want to see for all materials my trucking lineup based on all the truck numbers that have been ticketed for my shift. I'm going to see the count of loads each truck has hauled or picked up based on spanning from left to right, each symbol. Green being it's been confirmed as delivered, red exclamation it's rejected, and then everything else, the gray time clock symbol means it's still in pending status. So if I want to see the load 3 for the day, which was truck number KD4, I could actually tap on that symbol, see at the bottom that ticket pop up, and then if I tap on that ticket header, I'll actually go straight into the ticket data here, where if I wanted to, I can mark it as delivered, or go to more actions, edit inspector notes, apply any, field notes that I need to, and then confirm it as delivered, or more actions and reject it. And then if I back out, once I'm done, I would actually be back to this screen here. You can see some others, which again, these can just be beneficial. They're not, required to use, but if you just personally wish to view the screen from time to time or operate from the screen, the loaded quantity report, this will be the net quantity for each material load that, the truck has gotten from the plant, with the highlighted blue, the most recent load for the day. You also have a load time report, so on and so forth. Quantity by material type will be just another way to see, okay, what's my ticket count and total net quantity from the plant. But the source of truth will be your project overview report, which is actually telling you what you've actually confirmed is delivered or rejected. Now, moving on, if you want to mark tickets delivered and just skip the whole pay coding part, that's fine. We also added a page to summarize pay codes for your shift on the mobile side of the app. So, say for this surface type B, I've been marking my tickets delivered. These ones are in pending status, and they are uncoded tickets. I could actually select multiple at one time and just hit quick assign and search the pay code I want to, apply all at one time, and then hit confirm. And that's just gonna say, okay, these are 3 tickets that I didn't need to split across multiple pay items, and I'm just gonna, bulk assign them at once on the mobile side. Once I do that, then those become coded tickets, and if I want to switch my view to see what I've already coded, then I would reference those here. And then from there, maybe I go back to one in particular, and I need to split it, then, well, we need to unlock the ability for you to do that. It shouldn't be grayed out for splitting that. You can, however, go to edit, as I just did, to go ahead and add another pay item to it, and then you could adjust your quantity breakout. Another beneficial page would be our work zones page that I want to focus on for this call. So currently we have an active compliant work zone feed for all states across the country, that if the work zone is created based on alignment uploads or digital stations, or you as an inspector working this project or out on site, you want to just apply a live work zone geofence that after you do that every day, if you're ticketing, it's notifying drivers approaching on either side or direction that there's workers present, because you're actually out there, plants tickets are being generated for this project and you're confirming them. Then just hit create work zone. This will be a one-time setup for the whole job. Just state what, route you're working or road, label it a work zone area, state whatever direction y'all are working in, And then the most important part would be set the boundary. Just click this box here. It'll dial in to your location out on site. You'll hit start. So you're starting in this corner, hit set. And then you can just, drag and, align to the road with your finger on your mobile device one time. You could do the whole project site, or you could do just for the next few days of work and then update it as you need to. Once you're done, just hit next and finish. Once you hit finish, then this becomes a live public facing on Waze and slowly more and more interfacing with Google Maps based on how much activity there is, based on how busy of an area it is, and how much drivers are reacting to it on Waze, which Google owns. But either way, on Waze, you'll have 100% coverage, and then Google Maps, that percentage of coverage is slowly getting more and more that they're also relaying the same geofence from our system. If I hit finish here, then I'm going to hit finish, then done, and at the bottom, hit create work zone. And this is where you'll know every day that you're in here for that section you permitted and aligned, that drivers are seeing that you guys are out there when the plant's turned on and you guys are accepting tickets. So moving on, photos, if you want to take general images for whatever reason the case may be, could be good or bad. I've seen some awesome images actually of work being done on some projects over this past year that look incredible. Then you don't have to tie it to a specific ticket. You could just upload or take an image right then and there of the progress you're making, or if there is a reason, something you need to actually reflect that you're at a report or you would like people to be able to reference, you could take an image of the general project here. Next, I want to focus on reporting issues. So this is same as I showed earlier, but when you're within your project and maybe you're seeing tickets fine and then you stop seeing them, or you start to see maybe tickets for a different material that might be for a different job number, something doesn't look right, whatever the issue may be, here's another spot to report issues, which again are the quickest way to get resolutions while you're out there on site because it notifies the supplier contacts and HaulHub support at the same time. And we'll jump on there once you report that issue and fill in just the first 4 required prompts, which when you're within your project, we'll have this one already selected for you because you're in your project. And then some of these, you won't have to actually go type in. Like we'll know that King Asphalt has been supplying you, and you could select which plant that you've been getting mixed from on the tickets. And then we'll take that and you'll put it into an acknowledged status. If I were to submit this, or sorry, a reported status, we'll move that to acknowledged work in progress and resolved. And within each of these buckets, you can click and see our notes that we're adding for you as the progress we're making with the supplier to get that resolved. And then kind of the last that I want to focus on would be offline mode. So this would be the case if I'm in my project and then I lose internet access, then this is where, if it's known that you're going to have internet troubles for this particular location, or even if you don't, for most projects, the drivers that are delivering the materials should have a paper copy as a backup for 2 reasons. One, if you need to still accept the material and have some sort of record for it in real time, if you have lose signal on your mobile device, or maybe the plant goes down with internet for temporarily. Either way, the data will come back in our system, and you'll have a reference to that. But in the moment of, you would need a record. And then also, drivers aren't using our mobile apps or being they're focused on driving and just delivering materials. So if they get pulled over, they need a bill of lading proof as well. Worst case, they get pulled over and then they need to show what they're hauling. They have to have some sort of copy anyways. So in this case, I lose signal. I'm going to kind of demonstrate this by enabling airplane mode. All of a sudden, you're going to see tickets that you had been seeing here, but you're going to stop seeing the ticketed materials coming through while you don't have signal, which you'll know because you'll see this turn red. And then from there, you just will take that paper copy from the driver temporarily, punch in the last 4 digits of that ticket number, and then hand that back to them, and then still digitally log whether it's going to be delivered or rejected, add your notes in, and as you add values in here and hit create a ticket, well, rejecting, I would have to put a reason. Let me just do delivered for this one. Then while you don't have signal, you'll just actually still be digitally logging everything in the app. And then once you come back into Signal, you will see those tickets appear under the sent bucket, and that will all transmit and reconcile to those ticket numbers that we get back when the plant comes back online, or maybe it wasn't the plant, it was your mobile device, either way. So if I went back online, all these tickets that are being bucketed under this pending bucket would automatically transmit to sent, so long as the last 4 digits of that ticket number match a ticket that the plant actually created. Now, if you are going out there and from the start of the shift you don't have internet signal, then you're going to show offline at the very front of the app here, and you're just going to click the offline button. And this is where, from the very beginning, you would never have seen a project because maybe you're not going to have signal from the moment you get out there and before the truck even arrives. And if it's just a dead zone for the first half of your shift, or maybe the whole shift, then that's just how you're going to digitally log things, so that you don't have to go back and get on the web and do it manually. But in the moment while you're out there, you will need a reference. So you'll just have to put in the last 4 digits of those paper copies. One thing I also want to touch on outside of a project where you're inspecting and confirming tickets is our Explore page. So if you have a project where digital stations have been input ahead of time, and you want to be able to just automatically stamp your station and offset by clicking on any ticket, clicking on stationed, and just clicking this button, but when you're out there in the field, um, then you can reference what projects have that and what that looks like on our Explore page. So if I click our Explore page and I type in, I'm going to try to find a project where this has already been the case. So I'll just pick this top one. Then, if I were out here on site, I'd see a blue logo dot for my mobile device and geolocation that I'm holding in my hand. And then as I zoom in, I would actually see every single station marker. And based on where I'm standing when I hit that dial on the unstation button on the ticket, that's how it knows to apply my station and offset based on the my location and the alignments that have been uploaded to the project. And that can come from a design file, if there is one available, or that can come from just drawing the route from the beginning station all the way to the ending station, and then all the stations in between will auto-populate every 100 feet. So I'm going to stop there for the mobile side, so we can jump over to the web here in a second. Anything on the mobile side, Jeremy, or that has come through the chat that still needs to be addressed? Any questions?
No, I haven't seen it. I think you covered. I like how you covered the offline and the reporting outages. As long as everyone's clear on that, that is the quickest way to get something resolved is hitting that report outage button on your app.
All right, for time's sake, I'm going to jump over to the website. So where you go log in, which will be using your same email that your account is based off of, coming from an Ashtower project that has access, a construction role and access to a contract. You'll go to e-dot.com up here. I'll just put that in the chat if anyone wants to save and bookmark it. You'll hit sign in, and once you get signed in, I'm going to dive into the live portal here for South Carolina, where Similar to the mobile app, you're going to see a project card. It's not going to be dependent on if tickets are happening today or not. You're going to see the total project. So say this is it, for example, and you're going to see how many days that this project has been active. So this means that 35 total days we've seen tickets come through for this project. This doesn't mean that for the past 35 days, calendar days, that it has been actually active. It just means, whenever it began, there's been 35 different days that it has been active. I'm going to see here a quick view of all the project staff who have access within HaulHub to this project. I can click into these buckets. This just means that they're active today if it has this little fire symbol next to it. If I am an area manager or field engineer status, I can add members on the fly if I need to. Then I can search their name and add them. But you're going to still want to make sure that they're have a construction role and are attached to this project in AWP. Otherwise, if they're not, then when the nightly sync happens, AWP would actually remove them. So AWP is the ultimate source to make sure you have access in the HaulHub. However, if you need to add someone on the fly for the current day or at the time of, you can definitely do that if you're an area manager or field engineer status. I can see, in this case, it's just been Palmetto that have, you know, uh, been supplying materials for this project. And if I want to go see the materials, then I can click here and see a quick breakdown with, what is actually being ticketed today. So if I click into my project, I'm going to see a breakout of these buckets for ticketed status. So if the ticket's been voided, then that's just what the plant has done from their system, and we keep it in your view. But there's no action for you to take here. It's just a reference. So any ticket that's in a voided status from the plant, the net quantity for that will not apply to your all's finals report or delivery reports. If we want to go see rejected tickets, then I could just see those tickets here. And for any table that you're seeing, whatever type of tickets that you're wanting to see, if you click on a line item, then that brings up the full ticket description and fields. And then you can click, expand on the weight section. Then here, I could go see why this person rejected this. So the material was too hot, temperature 330 Fahrenheit. If I want to, before the project begins or at any point, create the work zone from my computer, then I can do that. You'll just need to kind of search and find the area, because on the mobile app, it dials in to where you're at. And if you're out there on site, then it'll locate you where you need to be already. But if you want to go, create a work zone, it's the same exact prompts, except you'll actually start with drawing the route from the get-go. And then once you do that, you'll actually hit done, and then you would confirm the values. So it's a little bit same exact prompts, compliant with the work zone data exchange, but you actually draw first and then you add in the details after. If I want to view a map of where the plant is, then you can see that as well. And depending on where the tickets are being accepted, you would also be able to see all of those tickets. And then if I want to see of those tickets, which ones are confirmed as delivered versus any of them that have been rejected, I can do that, click on it, and see all the specifics to that ticket. Now let's go to some reports really quick to kind of round this out. We have three different type of reports. This project, I'll show two of them, and then another project, I'll show another one. But if you want a shift summary, like laydown report, we call it the delivery report. This is based on a single shift. Then you can, at any point, when you log in and see your project on day one or at any time, hit create, click auto send. And if you want to say that, if this job ran the prior day or night, then at 8 a.m., I want a detailed PDF report showing everything that was all of my total quantities and every ticket lined out. that I've delivered versus rejected versus whatever was left in pending. Then it'll deliver that at whatever time I designate here. I just need to put in my email, hit enter, and save. And then the shift that it's looking for will be between these two time periods, if the project ran the prior day or night. If it did not, then I will not get a spam email for no reason. So you can hit save here, or what this looks like. If I go to a historical day that this project ran, I can also manually just download this at will. So let's pull this delivery report up. I'll blow that up for you. So on the 13th, this product description and product code, there were 7 loads for 146.81 tons that were confirmed as delivered by inspectors, with one of those loads for 20.25 tons rejected. And if I scroll down, then I will actually see that lined out here, with the first load being rejected, along with the rest being accepted. And here's my total for this product description and code. If there were multiple materials in this one shift, then it would total out the first one, and then I would actually be able to continue to page down and see the next summary and a list out of another product description. So that is an automated or manual, PDF only delivery report. If I'm working a night shift and I want to make sure I'm always referencing the range of time that would capture all trucks in the system that were loaded out in that time frame, maybe I want to say should be 5:50 p.m. start time, and that it should go out to 6 a.m. In the morning, just in case you run over 5 a.m. If that's common, then you could set this end time to always ensure you're capturing a start and end range for your night shifts that would always encompass every single ticket. I was on manual there, so you would set that on the automated side. Next, let's go to the finals report. So this is going to be an Excel report that you can quick select any of these different organizations of how you want to view your information. I prefer the supplier by material type, or I see that kind of commonly used across field crews, but this is for anyone at any point that wants to see a range of time summary. I only want to consider delivered tickets. I don't want to factor in rejected or pending or voided tickets, which would never, the status of tickets for voided wouldn't be automatically assumed anyways. But I want to do an actual time range. So maybe I want to go see a summary for the month of March. Then I'm going to say, okay, on the first day, I'm going to assume my start time for 12 a.m. And then the last day, say 11:59 p.m. And I'm going to download that report. Then what I'm going to get is a finals report that comes out kind of small. So if you go to view and zoom in, that'd be helpful. And I'm actually going to see this broken out by every single product in its own Excel page. So I'm going to see at the top, this is my range of time, the month of March for this contract. The supplier and contractor were both CR Jackson. 45 loads were confirmed as delivered for this total tonnage for ITCP product description. If I wanted to also add in the South Carolina State product code here, or material code, I could add a column for that. If you guys want to give me or relay to Jeremy and Travis a list of columns to add here, a part of the ticket data, whether that's coming from the plant or a field that you guys actually input information on from a notes perspective, this report can be customized however you essentially need to when it comes to adding more and more columns of relevant data from the ticket information that you guys are already utilizing out in the field. So, provide that feedback, and I'll get that those field columns added. And then if I page over, I can see this would be for all my STC items. What did I receive for the month of March from CR Jackson? Then looks like they delivered some SDCF, STD SWC. So finals report, a good way to see an organized view of materials and from whatever suppliers over whatever range of time you wish to get that summary really quickly. And then if this item had been, or this project had been pay coded, we have a reconciliation report. So how pay coding works on the website, as I know we approach time here, is if the contract items are established, you're going to see this pay period box down here with the total amount of tickets and how many of those have been coded or had pay items applied to them. So in this case, 0. If I click on this box here, then I can either go back after my shifts and totally ignore pay coding on the mobile app, and maybe I just got done working, today, the 21st, and then I want to actually go and view all 11 tickets from today, and then select all and hit code by materials. I'm going to go, search my unit of measure. We're getting everything coming from Astor project, so that's why we have these chip filters to break down by tonnage for asphalt. So you can quickly dial into whatever it is you need to apply. And then I could apply all of these and then also default to the net tonnage, which would already factor in any waste that I deducted, and hit apply all. And that's how I could pay code all my tickets at once very quickly when I'm back at my computer after. So obviously, if you're out there in the field and you don't have time to ensure you're pay coding every single ticket after confirming delivery, you just want to confirm delivery and move on, then at a base level, confirming tickets delivered, rejecting, and adding your field notes are the focus here. Pay coding can be done afterwards, does not have to be done out in the field. So I'm not going to actually apply those because this is a live project. I'm going to go to one that I believe already had pay item codes. I think it's this 2614861. Click into this job. And you can see here that they coded 1,700 tickets. So if I go view what that looks like, they have it broken, or our system automatically breaks it down by date and the first pay item code. But if I want to click off of here and just see everything all at once, then I'm going to see every single ticket and whatever pay item, line number and description and quantity they've applied. Now, if I wanted to click one and edit it, then I could do that. Maybe I want to, add another pay item code and split it out. This is why, flagging tickets when you're out there on the mobile app can be beneficial because you want to go back and reference one that you just want to make sure you can find. Then you can always, view flag tickets and then go back to it and edit the pay item code. We have a bucket for this that is under the flag ticket options here. And the last kind of report that you can generate would be your reconciliation report. So if I hit create report and I want to say, by pay period, which if you guys deem a pay period every 2 weeks, then every 2 weeks, someone, inspector status, or area manager, field engineer, whoever, can actually go to the coded tickets bucket. And the way you start pay period 2 would be closing pay period 1, and then it would start pay period 2. So that's how you can dictate when pay periods are closed out. And that way, when you go run a reconciliation report, you can just select one or multiple pay periods and also say, I want to see all the tickets as a PDF or an Excel sheet listed out as well on a separate attachment and have that emailed to me. And what that will look like is a very basic report. That is going to look like this. It's going to show your project, your contract number. This is just pay period 1, which was never closed out, so that's encompassing all tickets they've coded. But here is the line item, pay item code numbers and descriptions, along with the estimation that came over from AWP. Total to date, here's the net quantity that has been allocated to tickets across these 2 line items and pay item codes by inspectors, and thus the balance to finish would be this total net quantity for this contract. And then because I said separate attachment, but if you elect to have your tickets for each pay item code included, at least for the Excel version, they'll be in the tabs here, starting with the most recent ones for the whole pay period. A couple other tidbits would be you can see some AI generated reports, which are just there in case you uh, find them useful. You can copy and paste information out of them. We have a note that these are not HALHub built AI models. These are just using existing, the latest versions of ChatGPT, Claude, whatever. But based on actual ticket data, we have them automatically summarizing things. Because we have geolocations and date and times from plants and mobile devices when tickets are being confirmed, we can tell you the weather information at that time. So that can be included, and you can copy these currently today. But in the future, to what Jeremy had mentioned, we will have the ability to have a section up here at the top called Daily Work Report, and you could actually confirm the totals under every single contractor for every single pay item and material. And if you do, you can actually push that back into AWP. That is currently in testing right now with several states. And that is all I have for this training. I know we're a little bit over, so appreciate everyone staying on. Jeremy, Travis, or anyone have any other questions or comments before we tie off here?
No, I appreciate. I know we didn't leave much time for questions, but anyone that wants to type a last minute question in, we can always follow up, or I can hang on for a couple of minutes if there's any questions from the group. Please feel free.
Yeah, and definitely not just on this call, but if you or your office or your crew wants to have a side session where you dive into some of your actual projects and or make sure that you're set up, obviously Jeremy and Travis will be your go-tos on the state side. If you let them know or let me know directly you would like that, I'll keep them in the loop as well and be happy to dive into certain parts of using this, whether it's out in the field or not. So. And then, Jeremy, anything you get following up after this, if it's something that you need my assistance answering, like if it's a product type question or whatever, definitely let me know. And when I'm back in the office after my vacation, I'll make sure those get answered.
Yeah, absolutely.
Written format. So, yep.
No, well, Sean, thanks for your help presenting everything and walking us through that. Again, I'll hang around for a couple minutes. If anyone has any more questions, feel free to leave it in the chat. If not, thank y'all again for attending, and y'all have a great afternoon.